It is certainly true, as Jim Sillars asserts, letters, February 10, that the only question Westminster could have asked in 2016 regarding EU membership was whether or not the UK should remain as a member, or leave. Scotland had handed back its sovereignty on September 18, 2014 and was part of the EU only by virtue of being part of the UK. However, it is no less true that in 2016 some 62% of those who voted in Scotland did so to remain, in contrast to Wales and to England. The significance of this is that even if arguably the EU is the most significant policy difference between Scotland and the rest of the UK, it is by no means the only one, and, as such, an important illustration of growing differences in aims and policy between these two parts of the UK. As such, should we be surprised it is used to make political capital, something I suspect Mr Sillars is himself familiar with? In any event, while in terms of constitutionality Mr Sillars is correct, in terms of practical politics, how does he think it sits with assurances given in 2014 of a partnership of equals and, even worse, don't leave us Scotland, lead us? Mr Sillars' confession that he voted leave to get the EU out of the way for the next referendum, given that in 2014 it was on the side of the UK government, telling us in polite language to get stuffed, does though point to another, but more serious issue, that Scottish government policy treats EU post-independence membership more or less as a given. 20 years ago, in any EU referendum I would have voted for continuing membership with both hands had I been allowed to do so. For instance, many of the positive developments in employment rights came from our membership of the EEC/EU. However, since then their actions against the Greeks, and their inaction on events in Catalonia, causes me to question whether it should be treated as an axiomatic aim of independence. Should the policy of the Scottish Government on the EU not be one that not only allows but actively encourages debate about future EU membership, rather than presenting it as an almost inevitable consequence of independence? Alistair Galloway, Dumbarton. Being a politician, and at least its co-author, Jim Sillars will certainly have the answer to our SNP slogan of some time ago, namely independence in Europe, as he is now arguing against any such action. I well recall Jim Fairley, a member of the SNP's NEC at the time, being denigrated for arguing the very case Mr Sillars is now making, but one question I have yet to hear any politician address is the following. At the time of joining the EEC, as it was then, we were all told that value-added tax, VAT, was the price of membership, so now we are on the threshold of leaving the EU. When can I anticipate the abandonment of this tax? The phrase dream on immediately. For more on this story, visit the news article link.